Welcome to another episode of Anyone Can Cook. I'm Kate DiTranco-Anzani, your host for today. Today's episode is about the Filipino, and in Filipino, we mean Filipino stories, Filipino food, Filipino heritage recipes. The recipe for today and the main ingredient is glutinous rice flour or rice, and we're gonna highlight the puto. The puto in its simplest definition is about the Filipino rice cake. It comes in many forms: afternoon tea, kakanin, before meals, after meals. So many explorations about the rice in the Filipino meal. But this afternoon, we're gonna explore a Filipino rice cake called puto seco, but on an upgraded version because it comes in two different layers of a leche flan, and the second layer is the rice cake. One single bite, two decadent, unique dynamic flavors that just makes your heart jump out of your chest. So come journey with me as we go into the kitchen and do lots of play with the Filipino rice cake. So here we are with 8 simple ingredients, and I assure you, any of you have it inside your pantry. So I'm just gonna enumerate what you need. You need cake flour or glutinous rice flour, so like malagkit rice flour, and then you need sugar. You need soda water, any sort of Sprite is fine. Any bubbling water will do. You need some eggs, 5 eggs. Condensed milk. You can choose to use evaporated milk, but condensed milk already has the leveling of sugar that I would need. And that's it. You're ready to go to make this unique puto. Are you ready? So really, so simple. You need 5 eggs, and you need to separate the eggs from the yolks. So I'm going to do that now, and it's quite, for me, therapeutic to do. And then you have the condensed milk. There are many brands out there. So 1 can of condensed milk is maybe roughly 3/4 of a cup. And we're just gonna put the condensed milk on a bowl. And while we get it there, I'm just going to half the eggs and separate the eggs from the yolks. You see, you just get the yolks in there, and you want to be careful that you separate the yolk and the whites and just get them to a division. So smooth. In the transition is the yolk and the egg just separating from each other. And if you get lost, don't worry, because you can just count your yolks. So you can get medium to large eggs because you're gonna use both of them equally for the recipe. Voila. The 4th, and 1 more egg. And here we are. So you want to take the 5 eggs and drop it into the condensed milk. And then you just give it a quick mix. And if you look at that, we're ready to start the first layer of our puto. Well, I call them puto crema. Also because this is going to be the base layer of the puto. So come join me inside the kitchen as we're going to explain the benefits of what you call a bain-marie or a water bath, which is the real difference in making leche flan and nothing over the fire. It cooks in finesse. It cooks in like a velvety, smooth, creamy finish with a water bath. So come follow me. So here we are. After we've created the crema, I'm going to explain to you the different types of pots and pans that you may have in your home that you can convert to a bain-marie. Bain-marie means a water bath. To explain, I have a pot here with hot boiling water. If you take a look at that, you'll have a pot at home, a simple boiling pot of water, but I have a gadget that fits into the pot. As an example, you look at this. This is actually where I'm going to cook my puto. You may not have this in your home, so you can just get a simple boiling pot of water, and for me, I'm going to put it over the water. It's not touching the surface, and what it is, the water sits underneath this. So this is my suggestion of a substitute in your home. So you have the boiling pot of water. You want to find anything that you can put on top that has a hole. Are you ready for this? So I have one that's like a steamer. So basically the theory is you want the steam to cook the custard, right? You can, like leche flan, you can immediately drop a small ceramic pot in the water and the leche flan cooks over the time. So we are going to enumerate. I'm going to show you where we're going to take this. I have this. You may not have this. You may have a strainer in your home, right? So I have like something that strains my pasta. So the theory is you want to create the steam to cook your puto, or the first layer of the puto custard. So see, take a look at this. We're gonna put this on top, and if I feel it, the steam will actually seep through the top, and then I get it to a cover. Or you find anything that will sit on top, because obviously it doesn't fit, but it sits on top. It still does the same thing. So you just want to create the steam from a water bath that will seep through to cook, right? I'm going to show and demonstrate two different settings and how you can achieve exactly the same thing at your home. So we are waiting for the water to boil. I'm just going to use this. So I'm going to use two methods in front of you to show you, I would like to say, the different mediums of creating this in your home. So I'm just gonna get that to heat. I'm gonna shut off the lid. So let's get going. Are you ready? So remember, let's go back to our egg custard mixture. 5 egg yolks, 3/4 cups of condensed milk. So while we're in the same theory, on one of the pots, I'm taking anything that's silicone, anything that will actually sit and cook. I'll say that again because it may get confusing. I'm using silicone molds that's going to sit on and rest on the steamer like that. You can also choose to use the Chinese steamers, you know, like how they do the dumplings. Same difference, just smaller. So let's say you use this to make the puto, which is fine. You might want to use maybe banana leaves and cut the banana leaves, but they'll seep through. So you still need a guiding mold. So I'm going to show you, you can choose the steamer or silicone cups. Okay, it's beautifully sitting, right? Let's check the other one. That's beautifully sitting as well. So what we want to do, and I'm going to show you the two options we're going to have right now. The silicone usually needs maybe just olive oil or butter so that it doesn't stick, but you're gonna see that I'm going to put that on each cup and just fill it in half, because this part is the flan part, like a flan custard that's gonna cook together. In the same way, I can feel the heat of the steam. Still beautiful, right? And in the same way, I'm showing you two different methods that you can do it, or find any substitute of how you can do this in your home. Are you ready? So we have one that's just a boiling pot of water with a contraption that has holes on top, and equally we seal it. Okay. The next one is right there, beautiful with molds already, and we seal it both. Now, let's get to the part 2 of this phase, where we make the rice cake, the puto, and that will sit on top of that. So it's on its highest heat, and we want the steam to cook it through. So you need about 10-15 minutes. In the 10-15 minutes, you gotta get to work on your second lot. Come follow me. Here we are on the second part of the layer of the glutinous rice. So you need 3 cups of cake flour or glutinous rice flour. So malagkit in the flour format. And then you need 1 cup of sugar. What I'm gonna do is, in the 3 cups of flour, just add half of the sugar in there, and then add baking powder, 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder in there. And you want to get soda water, which is 1.5 cup. Sprite, soda water, any flavored water which create the bubbles. So that is what is going to guide us into this roux, or like the base flour that's going to go inside. So you want to give that a good mix. It's going to resemble something like dough, like Play-Doh basically. And that's going to thicken right in front. And you just want to be patient and go through this in its thickened form. Like that. So you're gonna keep giving that mix until it incorporates together. The dough, or the cake flour, and you're gonna get a good workout here as it mixes through like that. So in the next step is our 5 egg whites that we're going to whisk into stiff peaks. Come follow me. So here we are left with 2 more ingredients on its finale. So you want to get your egg whites and beat them. So I'm just going to drop the egg whites here. into a mixing bowl. If you want to do this at home manually, you could, but I'm telling you, you're gonna get a crazy workout, a hand workout, and you're gonna mix it until it forms like a medium peak, and then you drop the sugar, and then you drop cream of tartar. Maybe about 1.5 teaspoons into the mixture. So you're gonna have to sit through this and not leave this, and we're gonna wait for it to get to its stiff peaks. And do you remember the roux or the mixture that we did with the flour? So that's on standby because this is going to incorporate into the egg white or the meringue. So if you take a look at that, come take a look. It's getting into the stiff peaks. And in this phase of the stiff peaks, or like a medium peak, I'm gonna add some sugar. And the sugar, what it does, creates the fluff. And while we're on this medium stiff peak stage, right before it peaks, you're gonna add your cream of tartar. As it creates air bubbles, you want to achieve this like thickened form to prepare the aeration. This is what forms the silkiness of the puto. As we're getting to its stage, you're going to have this unique velvety, creamy, very, very opaque white texture, which is what we're achieving now. Just give it a few more minutes. Finish, just like what you'll see here. Once you achieve that meringue finish, you stop. You don't want to overbeat. And I'm gonna take out the paddle and just take all of that out. And then you want to incorporate the mixture, which is the flour, or right, glutinous flour base. I'm gonna change the paddle stick because I need to incorporate the dough in without getting the flour. So I'm just gonna drop it in. Some will have it more liquid, but what I want to do is just incorporate the dough because it's gone into a very thick format, to incorporate that inside the egg whites. If you look at that, so simple. And it will get incorporated through together. I'm going to drop it by spoonful, and I'm going to go at the last bit. There you go. Once we get to that stage of the incorporation, we're ready to check on our first layer of our custard. Okay, we just finished that batter, and we're looking at the mix and the batter of the egg whites and the flour. So we're gonna check on our custard, and if you look at it, oh, look at that. That looks like it was justified and it has set. And will you look at that? Exactly where we want it to be. So that only took 15-20 minutes. I don't know, I lose track of time in the kitchen. So here we are, we take the batter, and this is the part where it's round 2, phase 2. I'm gonna take the puto, and that's going on top as the second layer. So remember, the first part is like a crema, like a nice sweet base, and the puto is just like any rice cake that you can imagine that you find as an afternoon snack. Usually by 3 or 4 o'clock Filipino high tea time. And we'll take that. Oh, look at that. And you could already, in the middle of all of this, it's still cooking through. See, I have a lot of batter on me, so I'm going to show you something that if you wanted to do just plain white puto, meaning plain savory puto to go with a stew, a sauce, something that's not for the afternoon high tea, you could. So while we're at this moment, who likes puto plain, right? We need to have our cheese. So I have some cheese sticks. You can use mozzarella, you can use some cheddar, you can use any cheese that cuts your fancy. And because they're extremely long, I am just going to cut them to size of our puto. So I'm just gonna be quick and to get it right there. And just get the size that I want so that it fits right through. I mean, it's good to have them extremely long, but they're gonna melt in the process, so you want them, you don't want to save on melting. So you just want to get them right size, like how you imagine an afternoon snack of puto would be, right? Puto cheese, puto seco. Same fury. Come on, isn't that already looking like you're salivating in the mouth? So this is where we're taking this. Remember that underneath this is a custard. It's like a leche flan, and above it, it's like a glutinous rice cake. So in all its beauty, nothing is ever normal in our kitchen. We're going to, wow, that was hot. You have the steam coming out there. And get the puto right there, and one more. Voila. So, where we're going with this now, we need to seal it to finish cooking. Wait another 10-15 minutes and you'll achieve the most exquisite bite that you can imagine. And let's get these babies checked. Whoa, and here we are, the cheese, it's not even lifting. Take a look at our finished beautiful puto. Oh, how gorgeous is this? So here we are, we're left with the same batter because one recipe yields about 24 of this puto. So while we're at it, I'm gonna take the finished product, which is right here, and because it is hot, you gotta get your gloves on. And you get that, you set it aside, and I'm just gonna grab some water to get a new set so that I can demonstrate for you how it's like if you don't have silicone cups or if you don't have this contraption at home. So here we are, and I put a new pot of water into a boiling pot, and I'm gonna take, if you didn't have what I had earlier, I'm gonna take just like a sieve, and I'm gonna let it sit on top. This is another method to achieve, and if you don't have any silicone cups whatsoever, you can get a cupcake. I'm sure you can find cupcake cover, and you can lay that down on the bottom. In the same method, you can just get beautiful puto by using the same technique. So I still have leftover custard. Use that in the base. And you'll see where I'm going with this. And because I'm just choosing to line the bottom, so you see how you can achieve it successfully in your home can be 3 parts. You just need a pot, and you just need something to put on top that actually has holes so that it seeps through. If you look, I was able to achieve 9 of the bases, and I'm going to take the same flour and I'm going to just line that up here. And if you look, I didn't choose to have the bottom layer set, so it's coming out to a different format. Wow, take a look at that. So simple, guys. Puto is so easy to make. It's so therapeutic. And if you didn't have these silicone molds or any of these cups in your home kitchen, make yourself and give yourself a break and just get a cupcake liner. You'll achieve the same thing. So I still have leftover cheese, and you put that on top. Same thing. A more economical direction, of course. So here we are when we extracted the mold from the steamer, and it's almost easier to touch. So this is where we actually unmold it, and I'm going to demonstrate the first directive of the silicone. If you look at that, and the camera is going to get guided, I'm going to just push it up, and then you see the custard, which sits so beautifully, and the white rice cake puto. So I'm going to lift it up, and it sits like that in 2 dimensions of flavor. I'm going to sit that down so beautifully, and I'm going to check on the other one, and I'm going to scoop it up so I can show you. Oh, it's just mellowed goodness. It looks like a brazo de Mercedes, but it is not. But you see, The choice was to get it to a refined mixture of the rice cake and the custard that it sets like a yema. So nice to hold. And of course, this actually would be nicer if it actually got colder. But I'm gonna take my first bite. Take a look. It's so beautiful. Oh wow. The cheese, the denseness of the yema, the rice cake, it's one beautiful bite. The creaminess of the custard, the denseness of the rice that's cooked to perfection is just like salty and sweet in your mouth at the same time. These recipes cannot be found anywhere because these recipes have been unearthed from kitchen stories passed on from one to the other. And I'm sharing it with you, and we hope you do this at home for you to experiment and try this by yourselves. So thank you for joining me. I'm Kate DeTranco and Zani, and really anyone can cook.